Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Golden Echoes Hub. It's Charlotte here, and I'm so happy to have you with me again. We're sharing a new story every 2 hours today as part of our launch collection. And this one's called How a Smartwatch Gave Me a Second Chance. It's a story about a little piece of technology that changed my life in ways I never expected. So, settle in with a warm cup of tea, maybe a cozy blanket, and let's go back to a quiet morning in 2022. My name's Charlotte Harper. I'm 80 now, living in my little seaside apartment in St. Augustine, Florida, where the waves sing me to sleep and the sunrises paint the sky in colors I'll never tire of. But today, I want to take you back to a time when I was 78. A time when I thought I was doing just fine, until a small device on my wrist showed me otherwise. This is the story of how a smartwatch gave me a second chance at life. It was the spring of 2022. I had been in St. Augustine for 12 years by then. Ever since I sold my house in Asheville to chase my dream of living by the ocean. Those years had been good to me. I'd found a rhythm I loved, painting seascapes, walking on the beach, meeting friends at my senior art group. I'd worked hard to stay healthy, especially after my scare with leg pain back at 70. I walked every day, ate fresh fish and vegetables, even did a bit of yoga with my friend Helen. I felt strong, stronger than I'd felt in years. But as I'd learn, sometimes the things we can't see are the ones that need the most attention. That spring, my daughter, Emily, came to visit with her kids, Lily and Ethan. They were teenagers now. Lily was 14, Ethan 12, and they loved teasing me about how old-fashioned I was. "Grandma, you need to get with the times," Lily said one morning, holding up her phone to show me a new app. Ethan chimed in. "Yeah, you should get a smartwatch. It can track your steps and stuff." I laughed, brushing them off. "I don't need a fancy watch to tell me how many steps I take," I said. "I've been walking these beaches for years. I know my body." But Emily wasn't so quick to let it go. "Mama, I think it's a good idea," she said, her voice softer. "You're doing great, but a smartwatch can do more than track steps. It can monitor your heart rate, your sleep, even alert you if something's off. I'd feel better knowing you have it, especially since I'm not here all the time." I could see the worry in her eyes. The same worry she'd had when I'd struggled with my legs years before. I didn't want to make her anxious, so I agreed. "All right," I said. "But I'm only wearing it to make you happy." Emily bought me a smartwatch the next day. A sleek little thing with a black band and a screen that lit up when I tapped it. She showed me how to use it, how to check my steps, my heart rate, even how to set a reminder to drink water. I felt a bit silly at first, like a kid with a new toy, but I wore it every day. Mostly to keep my promise to Emily. I'd check my steps after my morning walks, usually around 5,000, which made me proud. And I'd smile when the watch buzzed to tell me I'd hit my goal. It was a small thing, but it made me feel accomplished. Then, one morning in May, everything changed. I'd woken up feeling a little off. Nothing major, just a bit tired, a bit dizzy. I figured I hadn't slept well, or maybe I'd skipped breakfast by accident. I decided to take my usual walk on the beach, thinking the fresh air would help. I'd only gone a few steps when my smartwatch buzzed. Not the usual good job buzz, but a sharp, insistent one. I looked down, and the screen was flashing a warning. Irregular heart rate detected. Seek medical attention. My heart skipped a beat, not from the warning, but from fear. I'd never seen that message before. I sat down on a nearby bench, my hands trembling as I tapped the screen to see more. My heart rate was all over the place, jumping from 90 to 120, then down to 60, then up again. I felt a wave of panic. I'd been so careful with my health. But what if something was wrong? What if this was serious? I called Emily right away. "Mama, don't wait," she said, her voice tight with worry. "Go to the doctor now. I'm driving down as soon as I can." I didn't argue. I walked back to my apartment, grabbed my purse, and drove to the clinic in town. The whole way, my smartwatch kept buzzing, each alert making my stomach twist. At the clinic, I saw Dr. Bennett, the same doctor who'd helped me with my leg pain years before. She took one look at me, saw the worry on my face, and got me in right away. She hooked me up to an EKG machine, ran some tests, and checked the data from my smartwatch, which I'd brought with me. After what felt like forever, she sat down and said, "Charlotte, you've got atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat. It's not uncommon at your age, but it can be serious if we don't treat it. The good news is we caught it early, thanks to that smartwatch of yours." I felt a mix of relief and fear. "What does this mean?" I asked. Dr. Bennett explained that atrial fibrillation could increase my risk of stroke if left untreated. But with the right medication and some lifestyle adjustments, I could manage it. She prescribed a blood thinner, told me to keep monitoring my heart rate with the smartwatch, and suggested I cut back on caffeine. No more morning coffee, which broke my heart a little. "You're lucky, Charlotte," she said. "If this had gone on longer without us knowing, it could have been much worse." I left the clinic that day with a new prescription and a new perspective. I'd always thought I was doing enough, walking, eating well, staying active. But I hadn't realized how much I couldn't see, how much my body might be hiding. That smartwatch, the one I'd laughed off as a silly gadget, had caught something I never would have noticed on my own. It gave me a second chance to take care of myself, to keep living the life I loved. Over the next few months, I followed Dr. Bennett's advice to the letter. I switched to herbal tea, kept up my walks, and checked my smartwatch every day. The irregular heartbeats became less frequent, and I started to feel like myself again. Emily came to visit more often, and she'd tease me about how I'd become a tech-savvy grandma. Lily and Ethan were fascinated by the smartwatch. They'd ask to see my step count, and we'd laugh about how I was still faster than them, even after our race a few years back. Now, at 80, I'm still here, still painting, still walking on the beach. I wear my smartwatch every day, not just to track my steps, but to remind me of how fragile life can be and how precious. It's a little thing, but it's a lifeline, a way to keep an eye on my heart so I can keep doing the things I love. I'm grateful for it, and for Emily, who knew her old-fashioned mama needed a nudge into the modern world. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that taking care of yourself sometimes means embracing the tools that can help, even if they seem new or strange. A smartwatch gave me a second chance, and I'm not wasting it. So, if there's a little change you've been hesitant to make, I hope you'll give it a try. You never know. It might just give you a second chance, too. That's my story for today, dear friends. If a piece of technology or anything else has ever given you a second chance, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. We've got more stories coming today. Join me at 8 p.m. for the next one, about a recipe box that kept my family close. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Golden Echoes Hub. I'll see you soon.